What's up, guys? Hang on, Klein's got me typing. Brandy. You said
D-I.
D-I?
Yeah, Brandy.
All right,
All right.
it's in there. What's up, guys? Klein's taking over the shack. He run into some trouble with a job he's working on, so he showed up over here with how many? 37? You said you got 37 tumblers?
35.
35 tumblers? He showed up over here with 35 tumblers he needs to get done. He was having some issues. So he come over here and I'm renting him the Lasermatic. And I didn't even, the cool thing is, I didn't even tell him what I was charging him for renting the machine. But one of us is going to make good money on this job. I got a feeling I know who it's going to be. What's up, Michael from mid Georgia? How are you, sir?
Frame.
All right, ready to frame? All right, we framing.
Hold tight.
Oh, he's got to make an adjustment. Yeah, Klein's here for tumbler training and to get this 35 tumbler job done. He was having some issues. Well, first he had issues with the design, and he had to send it to somebody to have them fix it for him. And I got the design fixed, and so now he's burning them. He's burning them over here, and I'm gonna let him talk to y'all in a minute. You ready?
Yeah, frame.
Frame it. All right, framing.
All right, send it.
Send it. But yeah, we got quite a few done so far. I've been working on some other stuff too. I'll show you. I got it over here in Zilla. Uh, yeah, that looks kind of nasty, but it's because I just got through smearing epoxy all over those CNC jobs there, and I'm letting it cure. And we had some problems with cats wanting to jump on everything, and so to keep the cats off of it, I stuck them over in the enclosure Zilla. Miss Sherry says hi.
How are you?
Becky said $5 a tumbler is good.
About worth it.
He probably wouldn't argue. He called me, what was it, yesterday?
Yesterday,
Frustrated and was like, hey, I'm having an issue and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know if it's me or the machine. And we've determined it wasn't the machine, but there was something in the setup. It just wasn't working, and he was afraid he was going to mess up 35 tumblers. Uh, no, Hobo, these record only in vertical. They won't do horizontal. You have to edit it on the back end if you want to fill the screen with it. But sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It depends. But I'm also working on doing a little bit of a video. I've got some B-roll. I didn't video the whole thing because epoxy is one of those things that unless you got a dedicated camera person, it's tough to do without getting epoxy all over your expensive camera equipment. I've got a few pieces of video from those jobs. I'm gonna try to put it together and make it make sense. But I just got through epoxy in those. One of them is a custom Jenny bit holder that will hold the entire set, and more than likely, I do suspect that there'll be bits added to the set. So I tried to lay it out to where I can go back and add more to it later if I need to. But yeah, but that's what we're doing. We're just chilling in the shop. It's been raining cats and dogs here today. Literally, the cats all came in because it was raining. I guess I can take these off now that I'm not using them. But yeah, these work really well when you're doing stuff where your hands are tied up. I actually had Klein reach over and press the button for me a couple times when I was putting the epoxy down because I didn't want to get epoxy on the button. That would not be good to get epoxy on them. It'd be a $400 set of nothings. Basically clear glasses. What's up, Chilton B Company? Hey, I got a lot of people asking me about honey, and I'm sending them over to you. I'm just letting you know that in advance. So if you start getting requests to ship honey out of state, you're welcome. You're very welcome. Hobo, you can. I don't know if there's anything else out there. I like these because I can actually go live from them too. There's not very many on the market that you can go live with. Klein is unboxing more tumblers. Yeah, Jack, I'm getting a little more diverse in my designing and everything, and so I just went ahead and got the full set because I'm trying to branch out. Now I'm having to buy them, 2 or 3 at a time because they're not cheap. They're not cheap bits, and they are not cheap. And I did find out they actually cut aluminum really well without dulling. Because I had a little oops. Somebody forgot to subtract material that they had already planed off of a piece of wood before they went to try to cut it in half, and I wound up notching one of my aluminum substructures for the spoil board. But good news is I used the bit today on the block over here that I made, and it still cuts great. Even after chewing up a piece of aluminum, probably about, I don't know, a half-inch gap in some aluminum, it still cuts good. Are you gonna be able to do all of them before you leave?
I'll have them put out of the way.
That's what he say. In case I decide to do something else, I have to move them all. But Klein says he may have to go, and he's got to go coach some kids on track. I know he doesn't look fast, and he's probably not. But apparently he's the best they had to teach kids how to run. So he's got to go do track practice here in a little while. But in the meantime, I'm just kind of stuck watching him now, waiting on my acrylic or my my epoxy to dry. And I'm using the Total Boat epoxy that we got when I was over in Georgia. They gave me a little sample. Yeah, Brandon, when I'm doing tumblers here, for me, I'm going to be honest with you, my go-tos are the Lasermatic and the X-Tool S1 are my go-tos. Now, the S1 straight out of the box is not good, but once you do like I've done mine and you secure everything, and I've got a jig built for the RA2 in the bottom of it and all, once you do that, the S1 rocks tumblers. But, I just put a new controller in the Lasermatic, and one of the selling points that Leo told me, he's like, changing the board out is not going to be a bad thing because it's actually an upgraded board, and it reduces the horizontal lines on tumblers. And so I figured, why not see what this new version 3 board was capable of? So we did a couple of speed tests. Because Klein has been trained appropriately to always purchase extra blanks. And so he brought me a donor cup so that we could do the testing, because I made him do everything the way it's supposed to be. And we tested over here, and the LPI wasn't high enough. It was leaving lines in the powder coating. It wasn't making lines, but it was leaving lines in the powder coating. So I bumped the LPI up to like 300, and I don't know if you can see that. But basically any one of those squares would be an acceptable engrave for tumblers, in my opinion. But we went through here and at different angles, different light, all that, and picked out our setting. And I think we wound up going with 300 millimeters a second at 75. I guess up here at 75. You opened the lid too early, and you have put the machine into.
No, I didn't touch it.
No,
It's done.
Well, why is it still saying
I don't
it's
know.
going? We'll just stop it. It usually happens if you raise the lid.
I have not
Before
touched
it completes.
the lid at all.
Ah, all right.
Can I raise the lid?
Yeah, you can raise the lid.
Cause it finished.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that. What's the name?
Jessica.
Jessica.
Yeah.
Jessica. Just common spelling.
Common spelling.
All right, it's in there. Are you done with your part? But anyway, we got some good settings now, and I'll show you one of the ones he's got done once I get through hitting buttons. So I'm just kind of hitting buttons since I'm sitting in front of the computer. I was letting him do all of the work, but we've got the engrave set up, and basically I'm just changing the design over. I'll show you here. I'm guessing it's on the right screen. My screen share thing's been a little messed up lately. So we just got it set. I'm running it from current position because we like to do use a piece of painter's tape basically to create an offset, and we use that for our border here. So that way we just point the laser at where the tape meets the tumbler right there, and that works out. And we're framing. Let me swap back over to my screen.
It's good, send it.
Sending it. I'm gonna close the art gallery on this window so I can just leave it over here in the corner. But yeah, anyway, that's all we're doing over here. Here's the design. Here's one of the final design. There it is right there. There's the design. It turned out nice. It's really, really clear. When we received the logo, we did have to modify it. Klein tried to, but it was in AI format, and there was a bunch of weird squares he didn't know what to do with. So I wound up. He sent it to me. I wound up fixing it for him in some of my spare time, and that's our test of the actual logo after we come up with our power and speed. And I do recommend you do that, guys, before you start, getting onto the actual cups themselves that you plan on using, because I have had situations to where the file looked like it was going to burn well, but once you send it to the tumbler, it did not. And it's also, like I said, a lot of times, especially if you have small lettering, if you shrink it a little bit, it'll actually give you a better indication of how the letters are going to look. But this thing looks great, shrank or expanded. So, where's one of the actual? Well, do you have any that just has a logo?
No, that's not.
Oh,
We
but
will have some later.
anyway, yeah. So that's what we're doing. We're just chilling out, and I thought I'd bring you guys along and just, I don't know. It was getting kind of quiet in here. Klein was over here with his tape, marking all his starting positions and all that. So, but he likes doing that to make sure he gets them all evenly spaced. Which you can do that, or you can put a shape in there and use it as a frame line, and use where the border meets the black. But this is the way I taught him a long time ago, and he's just kind of stuck doing it that way, and he likes it. So I'm not gonna make him change. But yeah. Yeah, Hobo. The point of view for doing assembly stuff is pretty awesome, but like I said, I have to edit it on the back end. Oh, did you get you one of the Clack Shack shirts? I hear you. Hey, I hear you, Brad. I appreciate that. Hey, sport it around Clanton. People will think you're me, though. Just be prepared for that. But yeah. But anyway, guys, if anybody is in here that is wanting some Chilton County, like, it ain't my bees, honey, because my bees are like, they don't. I haven't got them up to where they produce enough to where I can give any away. Because my daughter has a honey habit, and she eats a lot of honey every day, so I can't keep the stuff. But Brad there has thousands of hives, and his bee yard's only probably through the air. It's probably 2 miles from my house. So, and some of my bees are actually bees that he has let me have. Like when my queen passed away or died or flew off or whatever she did, he helped me get a new queen. So there's his Facebook page if you're interested. I know a lot of people were asking me the other day, "Hey, are you going to start selling your honey?" But I'm not into it that big. I do it as a hobby. I leave the mass honey production. We'll leave that over to Brad for now. And I know my friends over at Cog Hill, they dabble in some honey stuff too. But Brad's kind of my go-to guy. Like up here, on the south end of the county, we kind of all know each other, grew up around each other. Like Brad's uncle owns the store that I buy my gas at. I mean, it's you never know. Sharon. All right, I'm gonna throw the questions up here. We'll answer some questions while we're at it, since Klein's not being very entertaining. Is it worth it to get the metal jig for the M2 for the M2 or the K2 or the MK2? I'm guessing you're talking about the MK2. I would say if
Yes.
I mean, I think it is.
Yes, it's absolutely worth it.
All right, Klein will give you his opinion on it. You gonna have to get over here where they can hear you now.
In doing things like this, if this is what you're doing, in tumblers and things like that, it.
Now, she's talking about the plate, the jig that I use all the
Okay.
time. This one.
Well, anytime you can use a jig for anything, it's worth it, because like that roller or that chuck sits down into a jig and it doesn't move.
Yeah.
So, when I first started, like the first one I put in there, I'm being all careful because I'm so used to it just sitting in there or sitting in a piece of luan. So having those pegs to sit that thing in there is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, Klein has already stated that in the event that Rowley were to decide to upgrade me if they come out with something new, that he's already threatened to sneak in over here and take that MK2 with him. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But I think there's a chance maybe if they come out with a new machine. What,
Tammy.
Tammy?
Yeah.
Maybe if they come out with a new machine, I think there's a chance that I might could get my hands on one.
Tammy.
Tammy. I got the mic all in the way of the buttons here.
All right.
All right, so we good. Tammy's the next one. Don't open it until it like.
I didn't
I wish I could
that
set.
was that was
I wish.
you.
Yeah, I wish I could set this version instead of like on the Galvos. It makes the tone when it gets through. I wish I could set this part of Lightburn to where it would go doo like it does on the Galvo. But uh, but yeah, I think it is. I mean, I like jigs and the way the MK2, the way they built it, the way they engineered it with the pegs and the base and everything. It makes placement and repeatability very easy.
Yeah, ain't that-
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that.
I don't know.
All right, just go ahead and get it out. It's fine. I'll just hit stop. It ain't actually gonna hurt nothing. But yeah, let me make sure ain't nothing got changed on my settings. Device settings. Nope, 2,000, 250,000 on the baud rate. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. But yeah, I would think it is. Now, if you're making your initial purchase and you can use the honeycomb to do a lot of jig making because the honeycomb stays in the same spot every time. So if you just wanted to cut a little bit of money off the budget, then you could get by without it. I don't use it as much. The time that I find that thing's really handy is when it's thicker material, because when it's thicker material and you take the honeycomb out, you actually reclaim probably close to 3/4 of an inch of your Z-axis. So if you've got like, say it's a leather binder or something that's a couple of inches thick, using that jig panel allows you to drop the item a little lower and still have a way to jig it. Uh, and I've been looking at, and if I say this, it's probably somebody else is probably going to make it because I haven't made it yet. But I've been looking at creating. Well, we just won't go into the details. But anyway, I have also figured out a way of making another jig for the machine that would allow even further Z-axis all the way down to the bottom of the machine, using what's already in place and just simply cutting it with one of my other machines. Because the panel that I'm going to have to make is going to be a little bigger than the machine. So, there we go. And Klein's hitting the start button. There we go. Yeah, Hobo said he's going to have Leo on Saturday talking about future products and release dates of the Rolly. So, might be something you want to put on your calendar and check out. Do you still have to lift the wood off the surface? Miss Sharon, if you're cutting with I probably wouldn't do a lot of cutting with the metal jig panel because it's not really made for cutting, in my opinion. The honeycomb is where you want to go if you're doing a lot of cutting. You could cut on it, but you would probably wind up with some scorching on the backside of your material. The jig panel's more or less made for engraving like multiple items, and I've even created. I took some acrylic, and this is actually orange. It looks red on the camera for some reason, but I took some acrylic and I created me some files to make because the ones that Rolly Automation sends you they're fixed, so they don't slide. So if whatever you're working with doesn't fit exactly between those, you can't make them smaller. So I created me some that have slotted holes as well as fixed holes, and you can loosen the screws and slide this to make them completely adjustable. And that's what I use with this panel. And you can even, like right here, you can see I got a couple of them stacked up to make it thicker because sometimes I need a bigger shoulder. I want a bigger shoulder against whatever it is I'm engraving. But this one too has the fixed holes in the center as well as the slotted holes here, which allows you to either mount them fixed or you can mount them slotted so that you can slide them up and down. So, Yeah, Hobo, that's one of the designs that I had in mind, and I've got another one too that's for even taller stuff. But it's gonna take a while before I get that done. But most of the time, if I do tall stuff, the reason I haven't done it is if it's anything that's too tall that I can't just set it up under the machine and run through the bottom, I throw it over here in the big enclosure because I've got 12 inches of drop on it with an adjustable Z, the bed drop on it. So I don't have to use that. I don't have to take the bottom out of this one very often because if it's something I can do with one of the other machines, I just rather not have to take the bottom out. So how are they looking? Let me see what you got one done. This camera is not that great, guys, but check it out. Whoop whoop. Got a little glisten to it too. Uh, no visible lines. I mean, you could probably get a magnifying glass and tell where the laser beam went, but looks awesome. Uh, we're running the focus as high as it will let us run it. I was gonna raise it up a little out of focus, but with the way the z-axis will start hitting the top and it bottoms out, they've got it to where it goes up just as high as it can without hitting anything, and that's where we're running the focus. It's actually not quite as high as I would like it, but due to the size of the tumblers, that's where we had to run it. But I turned the LPI up enough to where I'm getting a little bit of overlap, so, but not enough. Oh, Trey's watching.
I ain't telling you to get it down.
Trey's watching. He had to call in a favor, Trey. But but yeah, it's coming along. I don't know how long he's gonna be here. He told me that he may have to shut the shop down tonight because he's still got. How many left you got? How many you got left to do?
25.
25. Oh, you're making pretty good progress then.
Yeah.
You got 10 done.
We'll have.
Yeah, we'll have them done in a little while. But yeah, he hadn't got the invoice yet on the shop rent since he couldn't do it at Klein's Engraving. But yeah, once he gets the invoice for the shop rent, he may not be real happy with himself. But he did get to kind of hang out while I was doing some epoxy work. So now he says he's going to go back, learn how to use the CNC and do some epoxy
Oh,
jobs.
yeah. That looks good.
And I'm just waiting on it to cure and hoping I don't get a whole lot on my honeycomb. But in the designs that I did, I kind of made a little spill tray around the edge of it instead of having to use tape or anything like that. So it looks like it's working good. Yeah, but it ain't running all the way down it to my honeycomb. If it gets on my honeycomb, I just have to get a torch and heat it up, pick it off there. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, you could very well do that. Like I said, I don't use the MK2 for too much really tall stuff. Like when I do ammo cans and stuff like that, I just drop them in my big enclosure because I got, like I said, 12 inches of. I could actually get almost 13 inches of drop out of the bed of it. What you got going on? You want me to type that?
Yeah.
What is it? KRISTEN. That right? Spell check me.
That's right.
All right. It's your blanks. If it gets messed up, I ain't buying it.
Hush, don't do that.
Oh. What's up, Dale? How are you? West Central Florida. Man, I tell you, there's a lot of Florida folks watching. I don't know if y'all getting the rain down there like we got this morning, but it rained pretty heavy for 3 or 4 hours because Klein had called me and was like, hey, you going to be working in the shop today? But we had some stuff that me and Brandy were trying to get done. That's why I'm off this week and I'm at home. Me and Brandy, usually during spring break, we take off with the kids and just hang around the house, and I'll do my honey-do list of planting the garden. I've got to build a chicken pen. We've got to redo the back deck and the front porch as far as the waterproofing, weatherproofing on them. Yeah, just hit stop. I don't know why it's doing that. But we got quite a few things on the list to do. But I told him, I was like, if you want me to help you in the shop, you may want to get over here while it's raining, because when the rain quits, Brandy's going to put me to work. Carl, if you're running Lightburn and it looks good on the screen, but it's printing in reverse, check your origin settings. That would be my first suspect, assuming that you haven't messed with the controller or anything like that. More or less likely, it's going to be the origin settings. Your origin settings, let me show you on this one. I don't want to mess Klein up, but your origin settings are going to be down here on the right. Wherever, like if you're doing absolute coordinates here, if your machine homes back left, you want to use that one. If it homes back front left, you want to use that one. If this is reversed, it'll cause problems. You said you ready me to send it?
No, frame.
Framing.
Now send.
This is like Klein vision over there when I turn the camera on. All right, sending it. But yeah, that would be my first suspect, is that your origin is set incorrectly. So check that, and I'm pretty sure you'll see that that's what's wrong. So your machine should have a home location, which is 0, 0. And that's the problem, more than likely. Oh, look, we got like had like a tunnel going. But yeah. So Dale, you said you got 12 inches of blowing and drifting sunshine. I don't think sunshine around here, it doesn't blow or drift. So that sounds more like snow. What's up, Aaron? How are you, sir? Woodworker Gene, how are you going there? But yeah, lasering, it's fun, but there's a lot of things that you have to kind of keep up with running the machines, and it gets even more complex when you start dealing with the CNC, which I really need to be doing something on the CNC today, but I don't know what else to do, and I got my big laser tied up, using it as a drying vat for my epoxy over here. So, but yeah, the epoxy's coming along. It's drying, as you can see. Once I get through letting those cure and the epoxy cures all the way, I've got to take it back out to the CNC, and I'm going to run a flattening pass on them using the CNC rather than using the planer, because I get a lot better results flattening stuff with the CNC than I do with the planer, to be honest with you. Every now and then the planer will have that. It just puts a line in there occasionally, and I know it's probably because I've got a cheap DeWalt planer, but it does. So I'm probably going to put them back over on the CNC and just run a flattening pass on them. Rolling, going good, I guess. Klein's over here tying up my machine. But yeah, Jack, it's very addictive. I got way too many already. But the thing about it is each machine has its own specialty that makes me not want to eliminate down to just one. I technically could use one machine and do most everything that I do, but some of the machines are a little easier for setting certain jobs up. Some of them do a little bit better, at cutting. Some do a little bit better at graving. And then there's always those times where I have like 300 of something I've got to get done, and that's when I fire everybody up. Like I'll have 5 machines in here running at one time. So that's why I keep so many of them around, mostly. Need some more tea. But, I put a link down below, guys. This guy, even though he's not doing YouTube per se, he has started doing some shorts and some reels and stuff like that. So if y'all notice down in the description on YouTube, I don't know about Facebook. I don't think I put it on Facebook. But down in the description on YouTube, I put a link to his Facebook page as well as his YouTube channel. So if y'all ever want to like drop in and give him a hard time, tell him what he's doing wrong, the usual stuff that people comment. Go check that out. I think he said how many subscribers you got on YouTube now?
Right around 50 something.
He got 50 something subscribers. He got 50 something subscribers on YouTube. So he's coming up.
Hey, Facebook, I'm knocking on the door of 800. So.
Yeah, Facebook, he said he got close to 800, but now you're using Facebook to market your sales, though,
yeah,
right?
Right now I am.
So he's kind of following the Clack Shack way of doing things as far as he's doing, Facebook advertisement type stuff where he just friends and family spread the word type setup to try to get laser engraving stuff coming in, get jobs going. Because I stay really busy, and Klein he's got several machines now. He's got the Acemer 33 watt,
Yep.
Adam Stack A30,
Yep.
and O'Toole LM3 upgraded with an extension.
Right.
So you got the 20 watt
20 watt.
LM3 with an extension,
And then I had the
and then you got the Genmitsu 6050.
Right.
So
Well, I had the Genmitsu, it's like that. The
Oh, yeah,
650 with the CNC.
oh, you got the 650 CNC. Oh, you got the L8 too, Genmitsu L8. I didn't realize you had that many lasers over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got 4 lasers and a CNC now. And you got room for anything else?
We can find some room, depending on what you want to send over there.
But yeah, he doesn't have any more room. He told me the other day. At this point, he's just upgrading. He's not adding.
Yeah, I think we're done adding right now.
Well, Cole, make sure you got earbuds in because I can be loud, but maybe you won't get caught. Laser and flag and Pledge of Allegiance, cool. Yeah, I use those a lot. Jack, Maymay's as far as my orders of like 300 or 500 or whatever, it's usually Maymay. Sometimes it's 100 at a time. Sometimes it's 300, depending on what it is. The ink bandits and the little ink caddy things. She'll order say like 200 or so, and then she'll be like, oh, that's all I need for right now, and then she'll send me an email, be like, hey, I need 100 more, I need 50 more, or whatever. Because a lot of times when we come out with stuff like that, she doesn't know how well it's going to sell, so we just kind of guesstimate in the beginning, but then try to batch out orders to keep up with the demand. And I think with the ink bandits, I think I wound up doing 400 or 500 of them, but I did them like 100 here, 200 there, 50 here, that kind of setup. All right. I hear that one stopping. Yeah, for some reason the Lasermatic is hanging up. It's saying it's busy and it's not terminating the job. So I'm having to hit the stop button. I don't know what that's about.
Number 12.
Number 12.
M.
Oh my goodness. MAE. Woo.
G-H-A-N. Yeah.
Like that?
I like that.
All right, you ain't done your part yet. Got to reload the machine. What's up, Mark? How are you, sir? I'm just kind of hanging out right now. If I go some more tea, I'm going to leave Klein in charge while I'm gone. I need to get me a bigger refrigerator where I can keep a gallon of tea out here. My daughter's taking up most of my refrigerator right now with mushroom spores. She likes to grow her own mushrooms. And my wife doesn't like them in the house refrigerator, so they wind up out here. But yeah, that's what we got going on, guys. Any questions, y'all feel free to throw them down there. I'm going to run go get some tea right quick, and I'll be back. You got Dr. Peppers? You don't need no tea, do you?
I'm good. I got one in there.
All right, don't forget people are watching.
Huh?
Don't forget people are watching.
I got you.
So when I leave, don't be like, I just want you to be like, talking smack about me. They'll tell on you. I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to get some tea. I could put it on the overhead camera. Go ahead, do what you got to do. I think I got it started. You got to frame it.
Perimeter alert. Door. Perimeter alert. Door.
What up? I'm back. I made it. It's a brisk little walk.
You walk all the way to the house and back?
Yeah.
What went down?
Yeah, I just went and got some tea. That's all I had to get. I got a little bitty cup. It didn't take long. I had to make the tea. Still looking good. Looking like new money.
That's it.
All right, let's see what we got going on here. What I missed. So you got some free time at work? That's cool. What you doing? What you picking for? Trying to steal a Sharpie? Yeah, that was. I saw some stuff briefly this morning about the bridge getting hit. That was terrible. I'm pretty sure there'll be some changes made to how they do things over there with that. And I was a little shocked. I mean, I know it's it's a matter of it costs a lot of money, but I was a little shocked that there wasn't barriers around the bridge pilings, like maybe some kind of poles with like maybe massive chains or something to kind of catch them. But I guess it just depends on where it's at. I'm not familiar with the area. Well, what are y'all up to today? I know I can't be the only one that's piddling in their shop. Well, I'm not piddling that much right now. It's more or less Klein. What you trying to do? Me to edit that one?
Yeah, number 13.
Or
All right.
spell check me.
That'd be good.
Is it right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I always like to double check. So y'all check this out right here. There you go. Oh, my overhead camera ain't working. Why's my overhead camera ain't working? But yeah, I need to be running something else, but I'm being a little lazy. Waiting on him to get finished. I really wish my epoxy would hurry up and cure. I really want to see what that looks like.
It's gonna be a minute.
So Sharon, have you ordered you got your MK2 coming? Is that what you're saying? You got your one ordered? Echo, turn on the lights.
Okay.
I just realized my back lights wasn't on. Uh-oh, Cole. You kind of just have to listen to it. That's what I do when I'm working because I'll mess up too. It takes a little while to get to where you can multitask. Because sometimes I'll be multitasking and I'll type something in that what somebody says in a YouTube video and burn it. That's why I got a bad habit of checking my engraves. So Miss Sharon's saying she should have her machine between April the 8th and the 18th. Well, that's cool. That's like I said, it's a good machine. I've really enjoyed mine so far. I was a little heartbroken when it wasn't working there for a little while, but now that I've got it back together and got it back running, and I even wound up, luckily, thanks to Leo, he sent me the newer board instead of just sending me an older one. So I've actually got the upgraded speeds and everything on the rotary. According to him, he just said that it shows less lines on Tumbler engraves, and I never noticed I had a problem with lines before, but if I did, I shouldn't have any now. And apparently, we're not having any problems today.
No.
It seems to be running smooth. What, 10 tumblers in?
No,
12?
when this is
13?
12.
12? 12 tumblers in, and we ain't had any problems so far, so I think we're doing pretty good. I did have to get Klein to make sure he was keeping it level, because earlier, he got to manhandling the chuck and kind of pushed it down a little bit. But it looks like he's doing a pretty good job of it from what I can tell on the camera now.
So far, so good.
Laser etching a glass pane. I hope you got extras because you got to be careful with glass. Too much heat, too much of an engrave will result in cracks. Been there, done that.
Oh, it stopped at that time.
It actually said stop that time. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why it's doing that. It could be my computer, but it actually said it completed that go around. Yeah, Mark. I've got a bunch of my I got my cutting boards done. I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still got 8 stove covers I got to get done, but I did 4 yesterday or day before yesterday, and so I'm gonna probably work on some in a little while. I gotta get this guy's stuff off of my table first. Framing. This is the right name, right? We did change it.
Yes, we're going to change it.
Okay. I wish y'all could see the camera from the roller because it's staring Klein right in the face. Pete, it's actually in the middle of the day here. I took off this week. I took some vacation. I haven't had a vacation unless you count the 3 or 4 weeks I was out with back surgery. I haven't had a vacation in a couple of years. So I took some vacation time, but it's more of a staycation because I'm just staying at home doing stuff here.
Frame it.
All right, framing.
And then cut. So you get it straight.
I mean, is it in there right? You got it in there right?
It's in there, right?
Let me look at it. Make sure.
Wobbles on the end.
Well, I mean, you can always rotate it around to a different location. There's no branding or nothing on the cups.
Watch what I'm saying. I mean, that's the lowest point.
Let me look at it.
It's,
Let me look and see. I'll tell you if it's gonna be a problem or not. Yeah, it ain't hurt none.
it's right.
Yeah, some of those tumblers that I don't know if they don't. Sometimes when they seat the top on them, they don't quite. I don't know. It's
All right,
rare, but
frame it one more time just for good measure. All right.
yeah, it ain't got but about a millimeter of motion in it. As long as you got it on the chuck right.
Hold on just a minute. Let me make sure that we're.
We changed it a minute ago.
Yeah,
So
we did. All right, go ahead.
you good? You good?
Good.
All right. Somebody asked me something about the hassles a while ago. I thought. Yeah, Nate, I use the hassles a lot, and that's what Klein's running on this one. To me, I mean, that's what this one is, and to me, they work as good as any of them. So, I've had this one for a while. Like this was actually a goof up cup, where the design got like messed up, and so I took sandpaper and sanded it down. And after I sanded it down up to like 2,000 grit sandpaper, I went back and put my logo on it, just a stainless engrave. So this was actually a practice cup for quite a while. Oh, Dale said he fried the cone as MK2 doing slate coasters. I don't know how you do that on slate. I mean, maybe with wood, but slate doesn't really burn, so I don't know how that happened.
I'm going to change this out. I think we can get one more. 14.
A-N-N-A. Art has changed. All right. Well, we just started turning out tumblers. If y'all got questions, if not, y'all just gonna have to sit here and look at us, I guess. So, what do you think about the MK, Klein? Since I mean, honest. Well, you're gonna have to get. You probably have to get over here.
It's a
Hang on.
good machine.
We'll get
It's
you
a
a
really
microphone.
good machine. Uh, it does as good as anything that I have in my shop, anything that's in here.
It's doing better than what's at your shop
Well,
today, but I think that's operator error.
I think it was operator error. I just hadn't figured out what it was. I was getting a lot of lines, and the image looked like square blocks. If you do a lot of tumblers, you'll know what I'm talking about. The letters looked like little square blocks that made the letters, and I just a lot of test cuts.
Yeah.
And just couldn't figure it out.
He got nervous that he was going to mess up his job, and he done spent all the money on all the inventory and the blanks, and so he's like, hey, I'd really feel better after the experience I've had if I could come over there and like use some of your stuff and let you set it up for me. And we were kind of torn on whether we're going to use the S1 or this, because I do like the S1, the job it does on tumblers, but since I just replaced the board in the MK2 and Leo told me that it did, change some parameters for tumblers, I figure I might as well take this opportunity to test my machine with a bunch of tumblers just to see uh, if it made a noticeable difference. And I don't have any on hand that I did before the upgrade, so I really can't say. But according to Leo, it does.
Well, judging by what my experience was yesterday when I was trying to set my machine up, and then what we're doing today, it's a considerable difference. I was just getting a lot of lines with the atom stack. I didn't swap over and change, machines, but the atom stack was just giving me fits yesterday for some reason or another.
Yeah. Well, we got it working. We got it going now. But yeah, so Dale says he was trying something new and turned the slate into glass. Pretty but expensive. Yeah, it sounds like it if you melted the cone off your machine. That that sounds bad. Yeah, Edward, I got a whole bunch of practice ones up there, and it's like I hate to throw them away because they still work. So sometimes I do. I'll get one out once I fill it up completely. I'll get one out, sand it down, and just recycle it if I have time. But I don't. I don't generally have a whole lot of free time. Go here and check on my epoxy. Still tacky, isn't it? Yes, it's still very tacky. Well, the good news is it's not running anymore. But it's still tacky. So this is probably going to be something I'm going to have to finish tomorrow. But the plan is now that I've got the epoxy in the letters and everything, I took Cody's list of bits and the tool numbers, and I've created me a little holder for all 14 bits, and that way, when the Shapeoko pops up and says, enter a bit 4, because when I lay it out in the software, it'll tell you the bit number, but it doesn't tell you the bit name. So this is going to be over by the CNC. Keep all the bits in it, and when it says, please replace the bit with bit 4, I'll already have, I'll know which number is what. And this holds all 14 of the current Genie bits. And in the event that Cody adds more, I left enough room to where I can put some more spots here and over here, and then have room to do the V-carve engrave underneath them. So I think that's going to be neat once I get it done. But I'm waiting on this to dry. Then I'm going to put it back on the CNC. I'm going to shave a thousandth or two off of it with the CNC, and then sand it back down and be done with it. The engrave, even though that's oak, I did this on the A40, and that Genie Bit logo is really, really deep. So there should be lots of epoxy in there to draw from. Yeah, it stopped. Let me wiggle this badge just in case that epoxy is leaking. It might have a little touch here and there, but it looks good. Uh, Sharon, according to the little class and everything that I went to, within a few hours it should be mostly cured. But I'm gonna let it sit overnight. It'll be probably tomorrow before I try to do any sanding or anything like that. Hang on, I'll get the bottle down for you. Uh, Hello, sir. That name we did change already, right?
Yep, we sure did. Let me make sure. Yeah.
You got nervous.
You got me second guessing myself over here.
But this is what I used. It's Maker Epoxy, and if you see the where it says by Jess Crow right there, that's she actually taught like a little epoxy class. It's basically like a little familiarization. I wouldn't go into calling it a class because it was literally like 2 or 3 hours, or maybe 2 hours at the most, of what epoxy is, how to use it, and we basically got a little hands-on practice in the class. So, and Jess is the one, and I'll try to remember to go back and tag her in here. But Jess Crow is the one. She does a lot of like really really intricate, cool epoxy projects and stuff. And she teamed up with Total Boat is the folks that make this, and they were one of the sponsors of the event. And so near the end of it, I had mentioned that I wouldn't mind trying some of their stuff out. And so when they got ready to pack their truck up, I managed to get me a couple of. I got basically this is just one part. This is actually part B, but I got like a jug of part A and a jug of part B, this size. And doing those two jobs, that's all I used was that much. So I told them I'd try it out and see if I like it, and if it works good for me, then this is probably what I'll start going back to, because I bought some off Amazon, but kind of had mixed results with it. And seeing some of the stuff that she does and all that over there, it was kind of this is definitely a viable product. And I know Zyla Foxland, she's also was at the event. She has a YouTube channel. She uses this stuff a lot, and so I thought, what the heck, I'd try it and see how it works.
Alright, I'm gonna do this one and then I'm gonna head on and I'll be back.
So this one, like the one that's over there now.
Yeah, we're going on now.
Well, Klein's gonna be leaving us after he gets this one here done. Pete, I might could, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I try to do most of my designs to where I can just do it with one bit. But with the Shipoko, and I didn't like the thing at first because I'm having to take some getting used to it. But it actually has the bit. It's a bit zero and a bit setter. Anyway, after I change bits, all I got to do it'll say time to change bit, and it'll come over to like that corner of the machine. You change the bit out. It's got a little touch off pad on the right side. It'll go over. It'll touch off. It'll set the Z, and it'll go back to work. The only problem that I had with it when I first got the machine is I got the advanced dust collection boot for it, and if you don't raise that up before that thing goes over there to do the probe on the bit setter, it'll crash. So I'm having to make sure that if I do use that I raise that dust boot up, because my dust boot's not attached to the spindle. So if I don't raise that thing up, it'll crash into the bit setter. The one thing that I would recommend for Shipoko, if they were to change anything about this machine, is get that thing down below. Get the touchpad at least down like an inch, because it's like 2 inches off the spoil board. And so I would really like to see that thing. Like, it'd be nice if it was almost, maybe like a quarter of an inch higher than the spoil board, to where it could touch off and then go back up, and you wouldn't have to worry about the dust shoe hitting it. That would make it even better. But that's the only grumble I have about the machine so far. If you're using that, which if I'm doing simple engraves, like if I'm not doing anything that requires a bit change, I disable that function so I don't have to worry about it crashing. But yeah, Dale, I used black on this one. Hang on. I used black pigment on this one. I've got some other colors too, but this is just Amazon. This is carbon black, and it's just like a powder. And all it takes is just, you can, like, if you wanted it to be like almost translucent black, you can add less. If you want it to be like really dark, then you can add more. But the more of this you add, the darker it gets. I've got some blue that I use for like lakes and stuff. Hang on, I'll get it. So I've got, this is the blue, and it's, like I said, it's almost like graphite powder. Like, it's really fine powder. And you just, the pigment, you just add it to the epoxy, mix it in really good with a, popsicle stick or tongue suppressor or whatever you want to use. I mean, you can even use just a regular stick or whatever, but yeah, you just mix it in and you can color the epoxy whatever color you want it. And I got some testers while we were over there of some different colors. So I haven't had a chance to try these out yet because these are not colors that I would use a lot. When they were handing out samples, I kind of wanted to try some black, but I managed to get the white. Then I've got like a blue, a dark green, and a light green. So yeah. Dale, that would depend on how much pigment you put in there. The more pigment you put, the darker it gets. I mean, you can, like I said, you can make it dark, or you can just add a little bit of pigment and it'll be clear. So the stuff that I've got is supposed to dry completely clear. We'll see. Well, I don't guess we will because I put black pigment in all of it. So where are we at on the tumbler count?
We have.
Are you wanting me to start this one?
No, you don't have to. I'll be back in a while.
That's not. Is that the name?
No.
I mean, you've already got it loaded, right?
Yeah, I've got it loaded.
Well, we can go ahead and start it.
All right. Let me get the name.
Oh, I'll just turn the machine off once it finishes and leave it in there. You can pick up where you left off when you get back. I need to go get some lunch.
Number 15.
CAI.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Right. All right. Don't start it yet.
All right. Let's see. What's up, Epic? Making LED USB battery bases. Cool, Chris. Awesome.
Frame it.
Framing. Need me to frame again? You looked a little uncertain.
All right, frame it one more time.
Framing one more time.
All right.
Ready to go?
Send it.
Sending. All right. Steve, some of it that I've tried is really bad. This stuff's not as bad. I mean, would you consider the smell of that epoxy to be bad?
No, I didn't smell it.
I mean, you can smell it when you're working it, but it ain't
Yeah.
overwhelming.
It's not overpowering.
But Dale said squirrels running hard in his head. Hey, I have those days. Sometimes I just have to sit and try to focus. Well, Epic, it's cool. I will say this: it's a little messy. Like, or either I'm messy, or it's messy, or we're both together messy. But I like some of the stuff that I see people doing with epoxy. I did a table that I did one time. It was a cedar table, and I made it out of rough cut cedar planks and put them together. And they wanted a logo engraved in the table, and I did a really deep engrave in the table, backfilled it with epoxy. Some of the other stuff that I've had for a year or two, which probably has gone bad by now, and backfilled it. And then once I let that set, I came back with clear and went over the whole table, and that thing looked awesome. But I haven't done as much with it, and a lot of the reason is I have so many other things going on. I don't ever take time to do it. But I had decided that I was going to do this badge, and I wanted to do my bit holder with epoxy as well to give it that extra little pop. I used a nice piece of oak for it and all. So I figured while I was mixing up black epoxy to do the badge, I'd go ahead and do it too. So I'll let you know what it looks like when I get it done. I know you can. Like Brandon, you can paint under the epoxy, but there is certain paints that you're going to want to use, and you got to let it dry. And you can do like one layer of one color epoxy and then do clear on top of it, or you can actually mix the different colors of epoxy together and kind of do like a swirl type thing. That's some of the stuff that Jess Crow does. And if I could pull her page up, I could show you some of her stuff.
I'll be back.
See you, man. I'll let this one finish, and I'll just cut everything off for you. But yeah, she makes like little fish in her designs and stuff like that.
Perimeter alert. Door.
Yep. There's Klein leaving. But let me see if I can find some of her stuff that she does. Well, here's one right here. Let me get it where I can show you the screen. See, this is her Facebook page, and you can see where this is actually acrylic. It looks like little fish in this river table or whatever she made. She uses a CNC to like cut this stuff, and then goes in and paints. I think she uses some kind of, she said she did paint those, but paints these little fish in there, and then goes and puts rocks in it, and then puts clear acrylic in there, or clear epoxy in there. It's really a neat process. Like I said, she's got a lot of videos. She actually teaches at like Woodcraft how to do epoxy stuff. So she's really good with it. And
Perimeter alert. Delivery box.
yeah, sorry about that, guys. Klein's setting off all my alarms. But yeah, you can see some of her videos and stuff. So if you want to go check that out, like I said, that's some of the stuff that she does. And she actually let us do something similar to this, just on a smaller level. And it turned out pretty good. So, and this is the same epoxy that she was using in the class. So it's pretty good stuff. But yeah, I am like I said, I'm just kind of putting my toe in the water on this stuff. I've played around with it, but Brandon, Jess would be the best person to answer that. I know she said she paints a lot of her stuff, hand paints it, and then pours epoxy over it. So there has to be some type of a paint that you can use to do that. But I wouldn't even, like I said, I'd have to do my own research if I went to do it. But it's neat. Like I said, I'm gonna try to branch into more epoxy stuff with the CNC. I've actually got a piece of red oak up at the mill that I milled that's got a natural void in the middle of it, that I've always said would make a really cool project, but it's got like a natural cavity in it, and the wood's like almost like petrified on the inside, like it rotted, and so only like the ridges or left. I mean, it's just a cool looking piece of wood. But I've even thought about taking it and maybe trying to clean it up and pour it with some epoxy and dropping some stuff down in there. Yeah. Yeah, Mark, it's layers. That's what she talked about over there. Was a lot of her stuff takes a long time because she'll do like one layer, let it sit, and then scratch it up, do another layer, let it sit, and then over and over and over. Uh, but yeah, I haven't got into anything that complex. I don't know that I will, unless I just, like I said, get bored. But it's cool. It's cool stuff. So that one's finishing up, and I'm not gonna get it off there. I'm trying to let him do all the work. It's his job. I'm just here for technical and moral support. But he had to go do track practice, and then he'll be coming back after a while to finish the rest of them. And I'm guessing we should be about halfway with him. He had 30 something. We should be close to 15 or so now. So that one finished. Yeah, I don't know why my machine was kind of like not stopping earlier, but yeah. So I'm just gonna turn the machine off so it ain't so noisy. There we go. But yeah, like I said, epoxy is one of those things that I'm just now getting into. I mean, I learned so much. I did that video on the CNC, and everybody was like, "Hey, yeah, you can do that, do this, do that." I just don't have the time a lot of times to sit down and watch and learn some of the software. So I just get in there and play with it. But I actually learned a lot from the video that I put out about using the CNC because there was guys out there that knew things that I needed to be doing that I wasn't doing, and they're like, "Hey, this is you can do this, you can do that," and so it's making life a lot easier. No, Brandon, he had to run. He's not gonna buy a lunch. I'm gonna have to go find me some lunch. I'm pretty sure there's something I can make a sandwich with out in the house there. The wife and kids are gone doing some shopping at. I think they said they were going to Rustic Relics, which is uh, some of our friends have a business in town. It's kind of like a booth type business where people have different booths and they have all different types of antiques and furniture and crafts and stuff like that. They like to go up there and do some shopping. And since the kids are out of school, or well, the one kid's out of school, and the other one's off work, and Brandy's off work, they decided they were going to do that today while it was raining. And then we're going to get doing our punch list out here. What's up, Kyle? How are you? How's it going? But other than that, guys, like I said, Klein come over and kind of took over the shop. But I've got a few more things I need to do, and I haven't ate yet because Klein decided to sleep in this morning, so he was a little late getting here. But yeah, so I'm gonna let y'all have it. And like I said, if I got anything else cool going on, I'm gonna try to do a couple of videos that I've had some footage put together. I'm gonna try to get those put together today to get those out. I'm trying to catch up on some of the stuff that, like, I got a bunch of half-finished videos that need to be completely finished. The projects, some of them are already done, some of them haven't been, but anyway, I'll try to get something like that out as well. But like I said, I should be off most of the week. I've got a couple things I got to run to the office for, but other than that, I should be around here. So maybe we'll get some cool content, maybe a couple pop-up lives. So keep your eyes peeled. It may happen. Dale says he's getting ready to start upwards of 100 tumblers for gifts at a Ranger reunion. That's gonna require some time. Hopefully, if it's the same logo with no change, it's not as bad. But if you have to change the logo constantly, it can be a bit of a challenge. But anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. I'm gonna go grab me a sandwich and see if the rain has stopped. Try to maybe check on some stuff outside, make sure the chickens hadn't washed away, and check on my bees. And I'll get back in here and get back to work. I'll try to get the video put together on the epoxy projects and put a little more information in there for you guys if that's something you're interested in. But anyway, have a good one, and I'll see you guys around. Take care. Be safe.